A look at the starting lineup. Front row, Gary Heber and Ryan Newman. Second row, Stevie Reeves and Jason McCord. Brad Knopfsinger and Tracy Hines in row 3. Paul White and Jay Drake back in the 4th row. And in row number 5 will be Brian Tyler and Brian Gerster. Now, we had a 15-lap semi-feature event here to determine the last 6 starters, Larry, and we noticed that some of the drivers had problems with blistered tires, and so maybe they'll be very conservative here in the early going, some of these guys.
Well, that's right. The top 12 cars here all broke the track record, and that might be one reason. The tires might be a little softer than they brought here last year, and it's going to be a big problem if these guys start blistering tires very early in the race. Well, it's going to be a problem no matter when they start.
These last 6 drivers qualified for the event through the B main. Well, a nice lineup of cars as we get set to go. They're the drivers who missed the field here this afternoon.
There's some pretty good racers in that group, too.
Heber and Newman lead them off the 4th corner, and the green flag is out, and here we go for 100 laps at Nazareth Speedway in Pennsylvania. And into turn number 1, the front row staying right together. Heber with the slide advantage now out of the corner and down the short chute, and it looks like that Gary Heber is going to be able to take the lead out onto the backstretch.
Gary Heber told us he might just lay back and save his tires, but right off the bat he shot into the lead. It looked like he's holding anything back down there.
And that's Stevie Reeves in the white car doing battle with Ryan Newman for the 2nd position as everybody moves through the final corner and completes lap number 1 in good shape.
Jimmy Sills got very high down there in turns 3 and 4, but got it back down to the bottom.
Stevie Reeves, first time in this number 9 car since the Copper Classic back in 1994. Again, he's substituting for Jason Leffler, who has a Busch Series Grand National Division commitment. The 37 car is driven by Tracy Hines. He's trying to move up. That's Jason McCord in the white number 4.
Yeah, Hines thought about sticking his nose under there, thought better of it. You have to make sure you're up far enough that you don't get that guy sees you and moves over. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble.
On board with Dan Dryden, that is, I believe, Dave Darlin just up ahead. He closes in on Darlin and makes a shot here on the inside. Oh, he gets on the rumble strips and they touch. Oh, a near catastrophe there for Dan Dryden.
And you can see that right front wheel is way out of kilter. It's bent way in. He's going to have to go in and fix that because, oh, look at that. Really knocked the toe in out of whack.
So he'll head for the pit area and get repairs on that car. Let's take a look at it once again. Dryden had a good run, but there was just not enough room on the inside as he headed for the corner.
Right. Darlin wiggled a little bit, so he thought he could make it in there. As he got there, Darlin didn't see him. He forced him down on those rumble strips, and then that bounced the front end up and into Darlin's left rear, and that's what bent the front end.
Well, Dryden comes in. He finished 14th at Orlando and 20th. Bob Jenkins, Larry Rice, and Gary Lee back at Nazareth Speedway in Pennsylvania as the green flag comes out to resume this Coors Light Silver Bullet race. Gary Heber leading Stevie Reeves, Ryan Newman, and Tracy Hines.
And Heber seems to be able to kind of pull away at will, has pretty much the first part of this race pulled away to several car length leads when he really wants to.
And the battle back here for 5th position is between Paul White and Brad Knopfsinger.
Knopfsinger on the outside. Oh, we got a car smoking. It looked like the car Pat Abold and something coming out of the engine or out of the left front of that car.
Or was he just smoking the tires? The thing that doesn't seem to be handling very well. It's Dave Darlin challenging him.
He's got some sort of a problem, no doubt about that. Here we go back on board with Brian Tyler. You can see he got on the outside trying to make that pass, just couldn't make it work.
That's Jimmy McCune there in the blue number 2, who's moving up nicely through the traffic. He started back in 13th position. Great on-board shot here of this unusually configured mile racetrack.
Yeah, it does have a lot of corners. It's more like a 5-cornered racetrack than it is a normal racetrack. Ooh, you can see, though, tires and slipperiness, a very big part of this racetrack so far today.
There's Jimmy McCune in the blue number 2, going to the inside and picking up 6th position from Brad Knopfsinger. So McCune has a good run going on board once again with Brian Tyler.
See that little line on the right side of Knopfsinger's tire? That tells me that that tire is starting to blister. So that's the reason. Tracy Hines, Brian Tyler, and Jimmy McCune. I think Tyler's got the best tires left. We'll see what happens.
Just 11 laps to go now. And again, this caution period, Larry, has allowed the tires to cool a little bit. And that may be good news for those running up front who have not come in to change tires.
Yes, they could not change tires on that red. They weren't allowed to touch the tires. We might say that Ryan Newman did change tires, so he had to go to the back of the pack, and that's one of the reasons you don't see him in that top 10 anymore.
All right, the pace car now pulls off the racetrack. We're set to go back to competition. This should be a good shootout here as we resume the competition in the USAC Silver Bullet Series. Tracy Hines leads them off the final corner, and here we go once again. And oh, look at Ed Carpenter in that red number 7. He's passed 3 cars.
Wow, he got a terrific start down there. We're going to have to wait and see whether he did all that before he got to the start-finish line or not, or before the green flag came out, because he did get a great jump on those guys.
Man, oh man, I'm sure the USAC officials are going to be looking at that, though, because you can't pass until the green comes out, and I think maybe Ed kind of jumped the start there a little bit. In any case, we focus on this huge battle back here on board with Brian Tyler now. He looks up ahead to Tracy Hines, the leader of the race.
You can see he's got his eyes set on him. He's just kind of trying to figure out, when do I make my move? Believe me, he is going to make a move as long as his tire lasts. All the tires are cooled off, even the one with blistered, that will help some.
But he's going to have to make the move soon, because now less than 10 laps to go.
You can see that Tracy's wiggling around a little bit. That tire is not perfect by any means.
And look at this battle for position.
You can see way back there, everybody passed each other. Some of these cars are 2 or 3 laps down. That's the real problem. Some of them have fresh tires, some of them have old tires, and obviously the guys with the fresher tires are going to be faster.
Great run for the number 22 car of Brian Paulus from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, another hometown driver. On board with Dan Drynan here. That is Pat Abel just up ahead. Again, a former winner on our Thunder Series. Back up front, we still have about a 8 or 9 car separation now between Hines and Brian Tyler. And again, Tyler's going to have to make his move if he's going to.
Hines is really driving the wheels off that car. You can see that there is some blistering on that right rear, and he is still pulling away from Brian Tyler. The question is, will it get any worse before the end of the race and allow Tyler to close back up on it?
No question about it. That black area that you see right in the middle of Tracy Hines' right rear tire indicates that it is. Oh, and look at this. A horrible crash here on the front stretch. One car, I believe it was Pat Abel, was overturned. If he didn't overturn, he got up on his side. Also involved Stevie Reeves, and
that was Tony Elliott in the yellow car who slid by there. So there was at least 4 cars involved in this terrible wreck, and another red flag.
Brad Knopfsinger also involved, and once again, for the second time, we have a red flag. There is Knopfsinger, who is climbing out of his car, but Abel is still in the cockpit, and there is fire at the front end of that car.
Yeah, he is taking his helmet off, though, so he is okay. It looks like all the drivers are okay, but man, that was 2 bad crashes right here near the end of the race, and probably some of that due to the fact that the tires are getting really blistered really bad.
Well, it'll be interesting to see when we do have a replays available exactly what happened. Pat Abel has stood upright and is climbing out of the car. He is, I believe, going to get some assistance, though. He may be hurting here in his foot or leg area. You see him being assisted by one of the track workers.
Well, he could be kind of trapped in there just a little bit, although he is going to go ahead and get out now, but appears to be very tender in that foot area. You see the EMTs and everybody there on the spot already. Stevie Reeves is already out of his race car, so the 3 main people in this crash are now out of their race cars.
Abel being assisted over to the ambulance. He'll be checked over, but this really could have been a lot worse than it has turned out, because the first thing, oh, and the checkered flag is being waved. The race is over. There is weather moving in here, and the second red flag, which comes just 2 laps from the end of the race, is going to bring a halt to the proceedings. And so Tracy Hines is going to be given the victory here this afternoon at Nazareth.
Well, I don't think Tyler was going to catch him in those last 2 laps, but this sure makes it a lot easier. He doesn't have to worry about it now.
That is Eric Gordon walking up to congratulate him, and Brian Paulus also coming over and offering a handshake to Tracy Hines from Newcastle, Indiana, who's taken a big victory here at Nazareth today. He's going over to look at that right rear to see just how bad it was, but I think you can definitely credit the fact that he conserved the tires with his victory here this afternoon.
Well, he and Tyler both ran near the front all day and saved their tires. That takes a lot of technique. You have to be very